Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror film, 2001 Maniacs. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins with a professor giving his lesson about the aftermath of the Civil War. The so-called American battle caused more than 8,000 lives of Southerners taken by the Northerns. The professor claims that up to this day, some of the Southerners still have grudges and hatred for the Northerns. So he warns the students to be careful with their spring break vacation in Florida, as they will encounter those Southerners that may harm them because of their history. As the professor continues his lecture, his student assistant, Nelson, messes up the presentation. Instead of historical pictures from the said war, it presents photographs of him and his friends at a party. Nelson tries to fix the presentation, but it is jammed. Fortunately, he is saved by the bell. The students leave the class, but the professor instructs Nelson and his friends, Corey and Anderson, to stay. The three sit in the front, as their professor informs them that they will be expelled unless they pass new term papers by the end of spring break. Despite the warning, the three continue their vacation and drive to Florida. While on the road, a strange man throws a dead armadillo on the trio's car. Its blood and organs splatter on the windshield. The man acts like it is the trio's fault, so they apologize even though it is not their fault. The man then asks for a lift for him and his dog. However, the trio tosses the dead armadillo and drives away. The trio stops at a nearby gas station and gets their windshield cleaned. Two sexy college girls and a guy stop at the gas station as they wait for their car to be ready. Corey approaches them and asks where they are headed. It turns out that both groups are headed to the beach, so the guy asks if they could all hang out when they arrive. The brunette, named Kat, agrees as she kisses their driver, Ricky, so Corey looks for a pen and paper. However, the blonde Joey seduces them and offers her flat belly as paper. Anderson steps in and writes his number on Joey's body. After getting gas, the hot girls leave, and the trio follows shortly after. Later that night, Nelson realizes that they are lost, so he asks his friends for the map. The sleepy Anderson replies that it is in the trunk, so Nelson pulls over and opens it. However, the gas worker comes out from the trunk and repeatedly hits Nelson with a crowbar. Nelson screams and realizes that it is just a nightmare. His friends wake up from his scream. They look around and realize that they are lost. Anderson takes over the wheel, but they enter a detour road, leading them to the southern town of Pleasant Valley. The townspeople clamor around and applaud the trio as the town's one-eyed mayor welcomes them. Mayor interviews the group, and it turns out that Anderson was born and raised in the South until he went to college. Mayor warmly welcomes the trio to their annual Guts and Glory Jubilee. Shortly after, the hot college girls arrive at the town as they realize they have taken a detour. But that is not all. A few seconds later, a biker couple named Malcolm and Lee arrives at the town too. All of the guests are enticed to stay by the warm welcome of the townspeople, seductive women and handsome men, and the promise of free delicious festive food. As the groups settle in their own rooms, a suited man named Harper enters the scene. He approaches the girls' room and offers himself as their tour guide while in town. However, only Kat agrees to come, and before she leaves, Ricky gives her his good luck dog tag. Meanwhile, the trio meets Mayor's wife, Granny Boone, who kindly welcomes them to their town. Their moment gets ruined when a town boy interrupts them as he chases his cat. The trio helps the town boy catch his cat to impress the ladies. However, they do not expect what happens next. Once the town boy gets the cat, he lynches it in front of the trio for being bad. On the other side, Kat and Harper end up on the farm, where Harper blindfolds Kat. Kat anxiously waits, as she thinks that Harper is kinky. However, when Harper removes the blindfold, Kat finds her limbs tied to ropes, connected to 4 horses. Harper explains to Kat that he knows that northern women think of countrymen as naive when it comes to love, but they are not innocent as one might think. After that, he whips his whip 4 times, causing the horses to run and leaving Kat dead without limbs. Later that night, as they gather around the dining table, the guests are unaware that they are eating Kat's flesh. Meanwhile, Nelson is enticed by the Maitens Mountains in front of him. She sits on top of Nelson and orders him to suck on the plastic tube she carried. Nelson agrees as he thinks she is kinky, so he sucks repeatedly. However, he soon realizes that he is sucking acid, so he tries to remove the tube from his mouth. However, the maiden keeps it in and laughs as the acid slowly kills Nelson. The bed melts, and Nelson's organs drop into the huge hole. The following day, the groups prepare to leave, but the townspeople stop them as the festival is just starting. Harper then appears, so Ricky asks him about Kat. Harper lies that Nelson took Kat from him while he was courting her. Anderson and Joey cannot believe it. but they are interrupted by Granny Boone. She instructs the townspeople to part the women from men to prepare for the festival. Meanwhile, Nelson and Kat's heads are detached from their remaining bodies by two cooks in a cabin. Ricky and the two are accompanied by Harper outside to play their cultural game called Gapping the Mink. Corey is with the two hot girls again, out on the meadows, while Joey and Lee are getting a bath from the town's ladies. Corey pleasures himself as he watches the two explore each other's bodies. However, they ask Corey to leave as his moans and groans of pleasure interrupt them. Corey goes pissed because of it and finds the guys who are playing the game. Harper demonstrates how to play it properly. He swings the sharp horseshoe hard, hitting the target on its spot. Malcolm arrogantly tries it, but the horseshoe does not even hit the target at all. Corey then appears and plays the game, and unlike Malcolm, he hits the target. The townspeople cheer for Corey, who is unaware that the targets are Nelson and Kat's heads. On the other hand, the town's ladies and Granny Boone look at Lee in admiration. From her sexy gangster look, the ladies transformed her into a southern lady. The town's ladies prepare to change Joey too, but Ricky appears and tells her that Anderson is looking for her. Joey excuses herself, leaving Lee and Ricky with the town's ladies. Out of the blue, Granny Boone screams so loud that her voice is heard through the whole town. Then, she starts a country song, while a short blonde woman dances with Lee. However, Lee notices that the lyrics are getting darker, and the rest of the townspeople gather in front of her as she stands on the podium. Although confused, Lee continues to dance when Granny Boone suddenly drops the giant bell onto her. The townspeople cheer as Granny Boone crashes Lee's body into pieces. Terrified by what he saw, Ricky immediately runs away to inform the others. However, Mayor's son appears out of nowhere and captures him. Meanwhile, while Joey looks for Anderson, the short blonde woman appears and stops her. Joey notices that she is holding Ricky's dog tag, so she questions her. The woman tells her that Ricky gave it to her, but Joey argues that Ricky gave it to Kat. Joey firmly instructs the woman to give her the dog tag, which she does, so Joey leaves immediately. On the other hand, Ricky is held captive by Mayor's son. The son forces Ricky to face the table while holding his hands at the back. Two women then appear, holding a giant metal skewer, and with Mayor's command, the women run towards Ricky. The skewer plunges into Ricky's bottom, penetrating his body and coming out from his mouth. Everybody cheers as Ricky becomes a barbecue. Granny Boone even licks his blood dropping from the skewer. Simultaneously, the remaining guests are at a saloon drinking beer when Malcolm expresses his suspicions about the place. He does not believe that those people would give them everything for free, so something must happen. Joey adds her encounter with the blonde woman and points out that Kat will never give the dog tag and go so long without checking on them. Corey then realizes that Nelson is not that stupid to be missing just for free beers. So Anderson assigns Malcolm to find Lee. Joey and Corey go to the hotels for their belongings while he searches for their vehicles. He reminds them to act that they enjoy being the guests to avoid suspicions. As they prepare to leave the saloon, the whole town appears, led by Granny Boone and Manor. The two insist they stay for the barbecue party later that night. They even try to make the guests guilty, saying they should not leave as it disrespects their heritage and culture. The group agrees and acts like they are sorry, so the townspeople make way for them to leave. The four part their ways, and the whole town watches them as they leave. After that, Mayor gathers the townspeople at his house and speaks about avenging their southern culture. Mayor promises that they will never ever go hungry again. Everyone cheers and celebrates by drinking alcohol. Meanwhile, while searching for Lee, Malcolm finds a little girl pressing a dead mouse with a mechanical machine until blood comes out from it. Shortly after, he runs into two musicians who follow him around while singing their town song. Fed up, Malcolm screams at them to stop and threatens them to tell where Lee is, or he will hurt them. The singers point their guitars at Malcolm's back, revealing Lee running away from Malcolm. Malcolm immediately chases Lee up to a house, where it shows that it is a townsperson pretending to be Lee. The townspeople appear from nowhere and smash a guitar on Malcolm, leaving him unconscious. After a while, Malcolm wakes up and finds himself tied to a cotton bed. The townspeople use the cotton machinery without further ado, dropping a huge rectangle rock on Malcolm's body until his eyes pop out of their sockets. Anderson sees Ricky inside the slaughterhouse, so he goes in and attempts to open a locked door. He then hears something liquid dropping on the floor, so he turns around and opens a food tray, revealing a plate full of strawberries and pineapples. The locked door suddenly opens, revealing Ricky hanging and hooked, with blood dripping on the floor. Before Anderson sees it, the two cooks come out from it, blocking the grotesque view. Anderson asks them about Ricky, but they deny such accusation and act all innocent. They then tell Anderson to leave, as it is rude to roam around the kitchen before dinner. Anderson apologizes and lies that he needs to find his car to get his best suit for the festival later. The cooks tell him that their vehicles are parked out by the barn. Anderson thanks them and excuses himself. Anderson goes to the barn and finds Ricky's bike when the town boy suddenly comes out holding the keys. Anderson acts like he wants to try Ricky's bike, so he makes a deal with the town boy. He will let the town boy ride the bike with him to find his friend, and neither of them will say anything to Granny Boone about it. However, the town boy tosses the keys to the cousins and hits Anderson unconscious with a slingshot. Joey and Corey find Mayor's son, taking all their belongings to a cart. Corey leaves Joey to get his cell phone, and while alone, Joey starts to roam around. As she wanders, Joey finds a cabinet full of big jars of human organs from the 1800s. Terrified, Joey closes the cabinet and attempts to leave when Mayor's son appears and captures her. At that same time, Corey finds the short blonde woman in their room, waiting for him. She seduces Corey with her bosoms and kneels in front of him. The woman lowers her head, and when she looks up, her teeth are suddenly made from steel. Corey can only scream as the woman attacks her lower body with her teeth. Later that night, Anderson wakes up tied to a table, with the townspeople surrounding him, and Joey tied on a chair by the end of the table. Mayor leaves him, goes to the food table, and opens the tray one by one. 3 plates have their friends' heads on them, and Joey and Anderson squirm in disgust as Mayor reveals them, especially when he takes a part of Lee's brain and eats it. The townspeople repeatedly chant, "The South will rise again." Mayor then returns and offers Anderson a second chance by killing Joey. Anderson firmly agrees, so the townspeople free him, while Granny Boone gives him the chopping knife. Joey squirms in fear as Anderson prepares to gut her. However, Anderson throws the knife at Mayor, which he dodges, causing the knife to plunge into his son's heart. Anderson immediately frees Joey and kicks the huge boiling pot, setting the ground on fire. They immediately run away, but the townspeople promptly surround and corner them. Mayor then whistles and orders everybody to stand back and let him deal with Joey and Anderson. Mayor faces Anderson and challenges him to a manly duel. Anderson fights Mayor's sword attacks and engages in a struggle. Anderson struggles to take off Mayor's eye patch. This causes uncountable maggots to drop from Mayor's eye, and he cannot stop it. Anderson immediately pushes Mayor off and threatens him with a sharp fork. Mayor quickly pleads with Anderson not to kill him. Anderson agrees that he will not kill him if he gives his word of honor to let them leave. Mayor agrees and orders the townspeople to let them free. They give them Ricky's bike, which Anderson drives to the fire pit leading to the only exit. Joey and Anderson go to the nearest police station and inform the police officers about Pleasant Valley. They share what the people of Pleasant Valley did to them, but the officers are calm. They come with Joey and Anderson to Pleasant Valley, which turns out to be a graveyard for 2001 Southerners killed during the Civil War. Despite that, Anderson spits on Mayor's grave and curses Pleasant Valley. The two then leave the cemetery and drive away, when they suddenly get sliced by the road's long barbed wires. Anderson's head falls off, while the town boy suddenly appears out of nowhere and hits Joey's head with a slingshot. The film ends with the town boy holding the two's heads like bags of groceries until he vanishes into thin air. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.